Hello everyone! Happy Manga Monday! Welcome back! Or if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome, welcome. My name is Zoe and this is my channel, Ms. Manga, where I talk a lot about manga. And today we are talking about some complete series. I did think about doing ongoing series, but then I just decided I'm going to just talk about some complete series that are great bingeable series, in my opinion, that you can curl up with and enjoy along with a warm beverage of your choosing, or, you know, a few hundred blankets during these cold winter months if you live you know, in the northern hemisphere anyway. And they will hopefully get you through some winter blues and hibernate with a good series. You know, who doesn't like to just go away from the world and get absorbed into a good manga series? So for me, these are 4 that I totally recommend. I think they're all good bingeable series. I don't think you have to binge them, obviously, but yeah. And before we get started, if you want to pause the video, grab yourself something warm and cozy. This is also a adorable series, Shikamori-san, or Shikamori is not just a cutie. I totally recommend this for a cozy romance read if you want an ongoing series, though technically it is finished apparently in Japan, but not here. So I'm going to just talk about complete series here, and with that, let's get into it. First up, we have one that I recently talked about, as recently as December, but I just finished it, and that is Soloist in a Cage. So this is already complete. It's complete at 3 volumes, and honestly, it's just really great. If you only have like a day or a weekend and you want to binge a good manga, then I'd grab this short one. It's so bingeable because of the fast pace of the story, but it doesn't feel rushed even though it's 3 volumes, because the plot is rather straightforward and it's helped along by the action-packed nature of the story. And I just feel like it's the perfect read, especially right now during these cold months, because the story itself felt very cold, desolate, and unforgiving, just like how harsh and cold the winter can feel. However, at the same time, it has themes of courage, determination, and hope throughout, and especially at the end, which is a good analogy for these winter months, that no matter how brutal, eventually the cold will thaw and spring will come once more. If you only have time for a short series, this dystopian thriller can be quickly devoured. And if you didn't watch my first volume review on Soloist in a Cage, I'll just give you a quick synopsis. A prison the size of a city, a lonesome snowy place that houses all manner of criminals. It's within this cage that an orphan named Chloe struggles to survive while caring for her baby brother. But when her neighbors hatch a plan to escape, the wheels of her fate begin to turn. This is the story of one girl's battle to hold on to hope. And yeah, it's, you know, there's definitely trigger warnings for blood, brutality. It's very action-packed. It has killing in it. Do I feel bad for any of these motherfuckers that were killed? No, not at all. They're pretty despicable people for the most part. So yeah, I really love the concept. I love the characters. This freaking series, every volume made me cry. Whether from sadness or happiness, like, yeah. And it ends on a really great note. A little bit of ambiguity, but a whole lot of hope. And I just, yeah, hope is just the theme that keeps on going throughout these 3 volumes. It's a really great series. Just go pick it up. Just give it a read. I don't hear enough people talking about this one. I need to shout it from the rooftops. Go read Soloist in a Cage. Next up, we're switching gears, because if you don't want anything that is dark or dreary and you're in the mood for some romance as Valentine's Day is quickly approaching, then I recommend this shorter, soft and fluffy series, Honey So Sweet. Yeah, it's completed at 8 volumes, so it's not a tremendously long shoujo by any means, which I love because it doesn't feel slow-paced or drawn out with a lot of drama and conflicts in the plot to drive wedges in between our main protagonists here. And it's pretty light on the drama overall, in my opinion, and mostly delivers just, you know, good vibes and sweetness, and I'd even say it's as sweet as honey. Sometimes I come up with these corny things to say, I just have to say them. Yeah, I know, it's bad, it's bad. So our story centers around Nao Koguri, who one day back in middle school left an umbrella and a box of bandages in the rain for an injured delinquent, Taiga Onise. Little did she know, she would meet him again in high school. Nao wants nothing to do with the gruff and frightening Taiga, but he suddenly presents her with a huge bouquet of flowers and asks her to date him, with marriage in mind. Just straight to the point. Is Taiga really so scary, or is he a sweetheart in disguise? I think all us romance lovers know the answer to that question, but yeah, as you can tell, it's a very fluffy, sweet premise. I really love the art. It just adds to the soft, sweet, fluffy nature of the story, and I like our main characters. I mean, I am usually very against the sweet, quiet, demure kind of protagonist, but there's just something about Nao that has a strength to her and a will of her own, and although she does get swept along in things from time to time, she's very much her own person, and that's what I like about her. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a girl being more quiet and shy and feminine. I mean, I don't want anyone to think that I have a problem with that. I know it was pretty hard in my review of Side of Affection, if you've seen that video, but yeah, it's just a vibe. It's a vibe, and Nao gives off a good vibe for me. So yeah, what can I say? It's all a matter of personal opinion after all. But I do think if you want to get a dose of serotonin and you want a story that will make you melt no matter how cold you are this winter, that you should give this one a try. All right, so moving on, if you're in the mood to hunker down for a long hibernation and want a series that'll take you a bit more time to get through, though depending how fast you binge it, of course, I'd recommend these last two. First up, complete at 17 volumes, we have 07 Ghost. And I did technically talk about this very early on last year in my completed reads wrap-up video. I tried to make a point of not repeating series on here, but at the same time, I feel like it deserves more love and recognition. It's an older title, but it was a really engaging read, and I know that those videos didn't really get that many views, so I'm kind of hoping to spread the word about 07 Ghost a little bit more on here. This story follows our main protagonist, Tato Klein? Names are hard. Who is a former slave of a fallen kingdom and was recruited into the Barsberg Empire's military academy due to his ability to use Xiphon, a prized and rare ability. His background and his amnesia have made him an outcast in the school despite his talent, save for his one and only friend and confidant, Mikaki. His reoccurring dreams and repressed memories are becoming more vivid by the day, And while he struggles to recover what he has lost, getting closer to the truth may mean losing something even more precious to him. This is a series with a lot going on, which is why I think it's perfect to binge. I do not recommend reading this like one volume and then waiting 5 months and reading another volume, because even just binging it's a lot of world building, especially in the beginning. All at once you'll have to get through, but it's totally worth it as those pieces and the mysteries start falling into place and more is revealed through the course of the series. Yeah, it's just a really good, like, darker toned fantasy series full of war and intrigue and these mysterious characters with different powers or abilities. And it has some really lovely artwork with some really handsome guys in it. The villains, or the like antagonists of this series, I should say, are all very interesting, as well as our cast of protagonists are. And I really enjoy the struggle between what essentially becomes like the church and the military. But yeah, it's got a lot of layers to this story, and I don't want to spoil anything. So I think you should just go into it. You might, like I said, be a little overwhelmed in the first volume, but I'm sure you'll settle in no time like I did, and really just eagerly keep reading to find out what happens next in this twisty, fascinating story. And my last recommendation, which if you want a longer series but you don't want the action adventure style and you want more of a comfort vibes slice of life read, I would recommend The Royal Tutor, which coincidentally is also complete at 17 volumes. And if you're in the mood for something cozier, this series is perfect. There are some mysteries and some threats to the lovely little idyllic day-to-day lives of our cute tutor and the handsome princess, but overall it's basically a soft slice of life story full of charm and humorous antics. So our story is pretty straightforward, and it begins when these names. Hein is how I was pronouncing his name, but it could be wrong. But our story begins when Hein accepts the post of royal tutor at the court of the king. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the kingdom's name. Hein is a little professor with a big job ahead of him. Each of the kingdom's 4 princes has a rather distinct personality. So does their diminutive professor have what it takes to lay down some learning? It's a comedy of educational proportions. They really hammer home how tiny Hein is. I mean, he is. He's small. He keeps getting mistaken as a child, and I just feel for him because constantly asked what grade I'm in or what college I'm going to when I'm not. I don't know if it's common, you know, the shorter you are, like, is there a correlation between how short you are and how young you look? I don't know, but anyway, I feel for Hyde. Yeah, all our characters, like they said, have very distinct personalities. They're all kind of quirky and zany and funny and charming, and it's simply a wholesome and lovely little read. It's also somewhat of a coming of age story for our 4 princes, who experience moments throughout the series of self-discovery, an understanding of their responsibilities, as well as their strengths and weaknesses, and simply being there for each other as family, as well as, in their cases, figuring out how best they can be there for their country. And an added bonus, in my opinion, is that it's a special kind of series where you can quite easily read a handful of volumes at a time because it's so enjoyable and amusing. Or you can just read once in a while and take your time with it, as it is easy to read at your leisure because of the simpler plotline and slice of life nature of the story. So yeah, you don't have like a ton of details to remember or world building or anything. It's just a nice cozy read. Either way you read this manga, I'm sure you'll have a fun time with it like I did, and I just hope you pick it up and give it a try because I really enjoyed this series. I finished it last year. I started it in 2022, but I didn't finish it until 2023 later on once I'd collected all the volumes. I did do it slower because, like I said, you can go at your own pace. But once I'd buy a couple volumes at a time, I'd go through them rather fast because it's just light and amusing and fun. And I loved all the princes and the tutor, Hein. He's great. And all their interactions are really funny and adorable. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about this series. Definitely think it's a good one to curl up with this winter and help you pass the days until the sun comes back. At least here, it's rather dreary and cold. My tea is already getting cold, and this is not a long video. So yeah, surprisingly, this wasn't a long video. Like my usual. Oh my gosh. So this is the last video of January. I do not quite feel ready with my Gintama documentary type video. I think it's like the perfectionist nature of myself. Like when I actually started writing down a whole script, I just started like critiquing it and nitpicking things and wanting to like make sure it's perfect. So this is why I don't do scripts, guys. I do, like, now I've been trying to be more organized and write down synopses or write down major things I want to highlight about them. So I'm trying to be a little bit more, so I'm trying to stay a little bit more on track and not take too long, hopefully, so my videos can be a little more streamlined. But yeah, when I just make a whole script, I start like overanalyzing it. So maybe in February, definitely by March is my goal. So yeah, hope you're still interested in seeing that. But yeah, this is the last Monday of January. So next time I hopefully see you will be for my January haul video next Monday. And if you liked this video and you liked my Bingeable series to hibernate with this winter, then please consider hitting the thumbs up button, and or if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, that's it. I hope your winter is going well and you are staying warm and not letting the winter blues get to you too much. Let me know what manga you're reading to combat those winter blues down below. And with that, until next time, bye!